To set yourself up for solopreneur success? Well, I have got the tools that you need. I can't believe it, but I've been a solopreneur turned entrepreneur turned marketing agency owner in the past 7 years. And today I'm going to reveal 6 of the strategies that have helped level up my business and maximize my impact. From picking the right communities to be a part of, to the right mentors, to time blocking and systemizing, these tools are going to transform your journey. So get ready for this week's episode. Hi, friends. I'm Katie Brinkley, and you're listening to a Rocky Mountain Marketing Quickcast. These bite-sized episodes are released every Thursday and are going to give you the latest news and tips in the world of social media that are happening right now. Let's dive into today's Quickcast episode. Man, I can't believe that it has been 7 years since I started my business. And I never ever would have thought that, honestly, I always wanted to have a business of my own, but I didn't. I started from working from my couch. I was working nights, weekends. It was always it started as a side hustle just until I found that next job. But now I can't imagine doing anything else. This week, I subscribe to all things Joe Pulizzi. For those of you that are watching this, you can see that I have his book, one of his books, on my bookshelf over here above my shoulder. And I subscribe to the Tilt newsletter, which he created. And then I also read his twice a month newsletter that he publishes out on LinkedIn. And in this week's newsletter that he pushed out, man, I got to tell you, it was a game changer for me because it really caused me to rethink how I am approaching not just my business, but all the different steps that I've taken along the way to get there. So I recently was talking about 6 things that I have learned over the past 7 years that have helped me with my business. And I think that all of these are great tips, no matter where you are in your business journey. If you are a brand new entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur, or even if you are looking to scale your business or adding new team members, just need a refresher on some of the things forgotten over the past few years since you started your business. But these are my 6 key lessons that have really helped me better business owner, but really allowed me to become a successful business owner. So the very first tip is to a mastermind group. Yes, join a master. I know that there's a lot of hit or misses on this. And sometimes people think, I don't know if I should be a part of a mastermind. What is it really even all about? You have to pay to share your own expertise. But being a part of a mastermind group with fellow entrepreneurs and business owners is extremely invaluable. I have a peer community, people that are struggling with similar issues. Maybe they've solved these issues. It's a great spot to share ideas. I've gone to my mastermind group with troubleshooting problems that I've had over the past few months, whether it was messaging or asking if this is a good offer, talking about, hey, will you just listen to my podcast and give me some feedback? They're there for accountability. The mastermind that I'm a part of is with Alex Sanfilippo of Podmatch. All of us have different businesses, but podcasting is a part of all of our businesses. So that's the common denominator. And this group in my mastermind has not only been a sounding board for my business that's helped me grow and scale my business, but they've become some of my closest friends and my biggest cheerleaders. So joining a mastermind group, I think, is invaluable and such a great way to bounce ideas off of other like-minded individuals. And you can share your insights and expertise with these other business owners so that you can hopefully help them scale their business. My second tip is to find a mentor. Man, it was crazy thinking that it was just March of 2023 when I decided to really dive in and scale my business. I went to Social Media Marketing World in San Diego. It was the first time I had been there, and I found all these great marketers that were the same part of their journey that I was. They were the social media marketing managers. There was people that were social media agency owners. There was podcast hosts. There was all these people in one space, and it was such a great opportunity for me to really make the decision. This is what I want to do. I want to have this business. But my next question was, how do I do it? And that was at the end of that conference. That's when I hired my very first mentor. And ever since I hired him, I'm a strong believer in having a coach or a mentor, somebody that can help you take your business to that next step. And, no matter where I've been with my business, I've had multiple coaches and mentors now. I mean, even back when I was at the radio station, I shout out Susie Wargen. She was my mentor there. She was great at helping me navigate the world of sports journalism. When I worked at the TV station, my manager, Jen, another great mentor that really allowed me to embrace the love that I have of social media. She's the one that encouraged me to start my own social media business. And now I've had coaches and mentors over the past 4 years, ever since that very first coach. I think that having a mentor that's, 1 to 10 steps ahead of you and having that outside perspective from somebody that's further ahead of you, providing insights, can't compare how valuable that is. And I think that as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, there's a lot of times where it feels like we're going in a million different directions. And this is where I'm so thankful to have mentors in my life that kind of help me narrow the path of this is where I should be going. My third tip is to schedule blocks of time. I've talked about this little thing many times. So it's this little cube, you can kind of hear it, and it flicks time 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15, 60. I use this thing all day, every day, and it allows me to really stay focused. I think that as entrepreneurs, we definitely can get a lot of squirrel syndrome. And I have to tell you, I had no idea how much time I was spending on certain tasks until I started blocking my time. And I also learned that I'm not very disciplined when it comes to my time at work. I'll just go check that email really quick. I'll just go do this really quick. Well, really quick really is not really quick. So I schedule out and time block 2 to 3 hour blocks throughout the day to do client work, to do podcasting, to do lead gen. I time block everything. And I also mute my notifications. Slack, as much as I love it, holy cow, it definitely can take me down a rabbit hole. So I mute my notifications and tackle different priorities throughout the day before I can get sucked into busy work. My fourth tip, it's kind of a continuation on from my third. My fourth tip is systemizing. And when you systemize, you can scale. So I used to waste so much time on different what I considered mundane tasks. But my podcast, for example, I was accounting maybe an hour a week for my podcast because that's how long it took me to record the episodes. But then at that time, I was also editing them. And then I was writing the social media posts. And then I was creating the graphics. And before I knew it, when I finally tracked how much time everything was taking me, it was taking me between 4 and 6 hours a week for my podcast. Hiring my very first VA was what helped me move the needle for my business. Racy is still a part of my team. She is invaluable to Next Step Social. She helps me with my podcast. She helps me with client work. She helps keep me on track for getting our social posts out, helps me with the podcast, everything. She's there for me, and she's learned the different ways of how I work, and she helps me streamline things so that the things that are on repeat can just be systemized. And that also allowed me the mental space to think bigger. By hiring my first VA, it allowed me to think bigger. It allowed me to focus more time on the business. And I think it took me too long to build out this system. I have to thank Loom. Loom is great, and it is a free tool. I pay for it, but they have a free option. I just record myself doing different tasks, and that then is my training videos for my team that delegate the tasks out to them. If I have to say that hiring a VA and systemizing these processes gave me so much of my time back and allowed me to truly scale. And I have to thank my good friend Jenny Wright for helping me find my newest team member. If you are looking to scale your business, I highly recommend reaching out to Jenny Wright. She's been amazing with hiring the right people recently. Okay, tip number 5 is doing a weekly review. Fridays are my day. Fridays are my business day, and I don't take calls. I don't schedule podcasts. I don't do anything on Fridays except for review what I have done that week, the wins for the week. I do my trainings. I love me a good course. So I will do my coursework on that day. I'll work on my social media on Fridays. I'll outline the next week's goals and to-dos, any blind spots. I'll clean my office. A lot of times just wiping down my desk, reorganizing things, moving the books around. Fridays are my days, and it allows me to really recenter on my business's growth and my growth. And Fridays, like I said, they're my days, and they have been so rewarding. So if you can't take a full day, take a half day or schedule out certain weekly review days for your business. I think that reflection is so important, and having those days on your calendar where you can just focus in and get work done. It's incredible to have. And then my last tip is prioritizing self-care. I have to say, it took me way too long to realize how hard entrepreneurship is, not just on your mind, but your body and your soul. I have to say that I was not practicing good self-care probably up until this past May of 2023. People said to me, "Gosh, Katie, you're doing, how do you find the time? How do you get it all done?" And honestly, I wore it as a badge of honor. But I just want to share, when I started my business, like I said, I was working nights and weekends. I was working between nap times. And so when I went to work, I worked really hard because I knew that I had limited time to get all of the work done. So now that my kids are older, they're in school for 8 hours a day. 8 hours? Yeah, about-ish 8 hours a day, maybe 7. 7 hours a day. I was still working that hard. And I found that I was getting all this stuff done, but I hit a wall and I got extremely burnt out. I go back to Jenny Wright. She's been a sounding board for me for the past 3 years. And I remember she and I were talking via Messenger, and she said to me, she goes, "Katie, it sounds like you're spiraling right now." And I was spiraling out of control. I was burnt out. There was times where I was just be at my desk and all of a sudden would just start crying. And I had no idea why. So I want to share that because I get it. Nobody is going to care about your business as much as you do, probably ever. But you are a part of that business. And if any of my team members were working themselves the way that I was working myself, I would fire them because they needed a better work-life balance. So you have to take the time for self-care and take that break. Whether it's meditation, journaling, exercise. I have a walking treadmill at my desk because that's how hard I was working for a while. I wouldn't even get up to go just take a walk around outside to get some fresh air. I was just working myself to death. So take the time for self-care. Take the time to prioritize you. And you started this business for a reason, right? It's probably to have a better life, better lifestyle, right? Take the time to prioritize your self-care and implement those rituals into your day, your week, your month, so that you can take care of yourself. So all this saying, those are my 6 tips that I think that everyone should kind of circle back to and revisit if it's been a while that since you've visited any of these things in your business. Those are the just some of the lessons that I wish I would have known when I was just first starting out with my business. If any of these resonated with you or with your experience, or if you have additional advice, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to learn from you. Leave me a comment on social media, send me an email. I really hope that these tips that I've learned from my journey can help shorten the learning curve for you out there. I hope it makes things a little bit easier and shortens the learning curve just a bit for any aspiring solopreneur or entrepreneur out there. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Make sure to subscribe so that you can continue navigating the world of entrepreneurship. And I'd love to hear from you. Please leave the show a review and connect with me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at @IamKatieBrinkley or connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you're ready to start making some sales on social media, be sure to grab my free guide to selling in the DMs without being spammy. You can get that at katiebrinkley.com. Let's keep taking your marketing to all new heights. Like seeing these weekly lives, be Social Profit Lab Facebook group. It's free to join. I'm just really trying to cultivate a community of the right type of support that I wish I had when I was just getting started, the right bit of advice, and just really creating that community around what it's like to be an entrepreneur and different social media tips and tactics that you can use to help level up your business. So again, give a huge shout out to my good friend Chad, because I've been trying to go live here on Facebook once a week because I think in a world of AI, more and more is happening with the world of AI. And this is one of the ways I feel I can truly authentically show up with you. I think that it's hard to tell now with people doing clones of themselves and deep fakes and ChatGPT writing captions and everything. How can you show up and show your community that you are there for them? That's it for this week. Thanks so much for joining me. And I hope that these 6 tips helped you with your entrepreneur journey. And again, let me know if you have any that you would like to add.